Your reputation at work isn't permanent, even if you've been the quiet one for years. Here's why people update their assumptions faster than you think, and the one internal shift that's going to help you change everything. So many quiet professionals carry a belief that people already see me as quiet. So they're already formed some sort of impression about me. I'm the reliable person, I'm the supportive person, and I do a lot more. But to them, perhaps those are the roles that I am playing. And some of you might even take it a step further and tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to change when I get a new job or when I change roles or when I have a different leader. I'll reinvent myself then. And before we go any further, I just want to gently challenge that because the biggest shifts in your career won't actually come with a different company or a different leader. They'll come from a different internal narrative. So what's keeping you quiet is not your environment most of the time. It's the rules your mind has been following for years. So if people already see me as quiet, does that mean that speaking up doesn't matter? And the answer is that it obviously matters. And not only does it matter, but it matters for you yourself and your own self-trust and worth. I'm going to show you the exact first step that you can use before your next meeting to begin shifting that identity internally. But let's build the foundation first. So in organizations, reputations aren't just created from the one moment or one meeting, as many people seem to believe. They're created from patterns. They're actually patterns of behaviors that leaders observe over time, and then they store as mental shortcuts. And leaders do this because their brains are managing so many different things and many different people all at once. So it's not personal, it's just cognitive efficiency for them. So they might say things about you like, oh, she's really reliable, or he's really steady, or they're really thoughtful. And these aren't judgments, they're quick summaries and working assumptions about you. And here's the important part that people update their assumptions all the time. They just need to see a new pattern. So this is something I've seen repeatedly in my 20 years in human resources. The moment that someone begins showing up even slightly differently, leaders do take notice. And sometimes within days, sometimes within a single meeting, if the shift is meaningful. And this is why that internal identity shift is so important. So before you can change your pattern, you need to change the rules that you are operating from. This is why I created the Quiet Leaders Identity Workbook, which I'll talk about a little bit more today. The workbook is going to help you map out a long-term view of yourself and get to the root belief of who you truly are and how other people can see you. So if your mind believes that speaking up requires perfection, or other people have already said something that I wanted to say, or other people have better authority than I do, or my voice isn't as valuable as others in the room, these beliefs will show up in every single meeting that you go to. So with every single team and every single manager and every single company. So your environment may change, but your internal rules will follow you. And this is why some people move from company to company and still find themselves silent in meetings. And that silence is not circumstantial, it's actually habitual. And this is also why I always recommend starting the identity work now and not waiting for your circumstances to change, because your reputation can shift first. One of the strongest pieces of evidence that change is possible is the fact that you've seen other people do it. You've seen colleagues move from corporate to entrepreneurship, or you've seen friends completely transform their habits, health, or communication style. You've seen people lose weight, go vegetarian, become more assertive. And what did you do? You just adjusted. You updated your mental picture of them. You didn't resist their change. You incorporated it. And the fear holding many quiet professionals back is not that change is impossible. It's that fear will create discomfort in others and therefore cause rejection. And this is where the psychology of rejection sensitivity become so important. When you fear being judged or dismissed, your brain encourages you to stay consistent with old behaviors, and not because it's better, but because it feels safer. But I want you to consider this. You're not keeping yourself safe when you hold back. You're keeping yourself invisible. And invisibility is far more damaging to you long-term in your career than someone being briefly surprised that you spoke up. So think about the last time someone in your workplace became more confident. communicate it more directly, started leading conversations, stopped apologizing, or began voicing their ideas clearly. What did you do? You accepted it almost immediately, didn't you? So humans adjust to new patterns pretty quickly, especially patterns that signal clarity, leadership, and grounded confidence. And this means that you're not fighting your colleagues' perception. You're simply giving them a new pattern to integrate. So shifting your reputation has nothing to do with dramatic changes. You don't need to dominate meetings or speak constantly to have to reinvent yourself. Reputation does shift through small, consistent signals. So a little interruption, a clarifying question, a really clear observation, or maybe a really concise point of view. And these actions seem small, but they do carry weight because they contradict the old pattern in a really meaningful way. And this is where your identity work begins. It becomes the foundation because behavior follows identity, and identity shifts begin long before the speaking does. So before you begin adjusting how you show up, I want you to hold one clear thought. You're not reinventing yourself. You're revealing yourself. This is not about becoming louder or becoming extroverted. It's not abandoning your values or your personality. It's about letting people see what has always been there. Your clarity, your intelligence, your perspective, and your depth, your thoughtfulness. And these are qualities that are already present but kept private. So your job now is to bring them into the room in a small but intentional way. And those small signals are what begins shifting your reputation. So instead of just focusing on what to say next, we're going to focus on how you see yourself. Before your next meeting, pause for 10 seconds and do what I call a quiet reintroduction. Take a deep breath and tell yourself, I'm not here to be who I've been. I'm here to show who I am. And you don't need to speak more. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to change anything else. You just need to give your mind new instructions and a new identity shift to practice stepping into. And that identity shift starts internally, quietly, and intentionally. And from there, behavior begins to follow naturally, just one meeting at a time. So in the next video, we're going to talk about something foundational and deeply important: how to give yourself permission and the power to simply be yourself at work, including how you show up and speak freely in meetings. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, the Quiet Leader Identity Workbook is linked below, and it will help you map out the future version of yourself you've been stepping into. And you'll want that clarity before moving into that next video. So I'll see you there.